All right, so again, if you can notice how the lines are somewhat curved on this top lip, curved on the bottom lip on those corners. So making those curved lines on the sides of our lips is what's going to make it look kind of plump and round. All right, if the lines were just straight up and down, then it wouldn't look round at all. So, but by us adding that contour to it and adding those curves, that's what's going to make it look realistic.
Now take a blending tool, or as I always use, a Q-tip, and blend in the pencil along the outlines. Again, keep the middle area slightly lighter, but not blending too much there. The firmer
All right, so pay attention to what she said. She said, "Do not blend it too much. You don't want to just go crazy and just make it all completely gray. You want to kind of treat the Q-tip as a pencil, and you're still kind of doing those strokes and doing it in that shape that I was talking about, that kind of round shape to make it look realistic. We're gonna do a few more layers of these lines and stuff, which is gonna at the end gonna make it come together.
you press, the more you blend the pencil immediately. Now you can go ahead and make the opening of the mouth darker, as this part doesn't get as much light as the rest. Next, take your blending tool and go over the outline to make the edges as soft as possible.
All right, and she's making those soft because I mean our entire face is composed of skin. Nothing should be super hard, so by us blending it out, that's creating that layer of skin.
And this is our base. From here we need to build up the intensity of the shadows to make the lips realistic looking. So for this step, focus on adding shadows starting from the corners. Since the lips have a round shape, follow this line when you add the lines. So add them in a curve to the left when you're adding them on the left side, and when you are moving towards the right side, make sure the curve looks to the right side. And in the middle, they are slightly straight. This way the lips will look three-dimensional.
See how light she's making those lines.
Blend them slightly in, and then we can move on to the next step, the cupid's bow. This part is slightly above the upper lip. It has a gap and two higher points next to it. As
It's literally just like a little V or a U, and you're gonna put that right above the mouth, and you're just gonna take your Q-tip and
I
blend it
said in the
out.
beginning, the light comes
And same with what she's doing right here. It looks like she's drawing somewhat of like a mustache, but she's just putting lead onto the paper so that we can blend it out and create that skin that I was talking about. So she did this little U thing, and she's gonna add some shading over here. All of it's gonna get blended out to create our skin.
from the upper right corner, so everything that is
Super
on the
light.
right side should slightly be brighter than the left side. So you want to add some more shadows to the right side of the cupid's bow because it gets less light as the left side. And you want to add some shadows along the left side of the upper lip and just a tiny bit on the right side. Again, blend everything out with a Q-tip, and this is also going to be our base. Now we can intensify the shadows of the lips even more. Lightly line out the lips and make the opening dark by firmly pressing down a softer pencil.
Notice that they said that a common mistake is that outlines of the lips are too hard. So make sure that you're not pressing too hard on anything, just like how we've been doing on the nose.
Same way as in the beginning. Just this
So now we're just repeating that process of those lines around the mouth, but this time we're putting it on top of the shading that we've already done, a little bit harder, not too hard.
time, press down the pencil more firmly to create darker lines. Draw short lines for the upper lip and long lines for the lower lip. As you can see, I made the space between the lower lines wider than the upper lip. The direction of the lines that you create for the shadows really makes a huge difference. If you just make them straight, you can see that these lips look flat compared to the lips on the right side. So be sure to follow the shape of the object you are drawing. Also make the corners of the mouth dark. I made them looking slightly to the top so it looks like the person smiles a little bit. And now with a Q-tip, slightly blend out the edges following the outlines of the lips. But don't
Slightly.
go over the middle areas to keep them brighter. As I showed you in the beginning, there is a small gap in the lower lip right in between the two circles I drew. This is where we also need to blend out the pencil to make it look more visible and three-dimensional.
Right.
And again, time to intensify the shadows even more.
All right, so basically this is our third layer of those lines. So she did it one time, we blended them all the way out. We did it a second time on top of the blended out, and we still kind of blended out just a little bit,